It's nice we've got all these small armies here so we can take out the trash. And these guys are basically going to help us a lot with these fuck raiders. Because right now it's an intense amount of raiders, and obviously it's decreasing the amount of food that's arriving at Danustica. What's this shit? This guy just left. It said left our clan. Why? Ron Hongaros? Hongaros? They just leave our clan. Right in the middle of war, I had this gal, part of our army. I think I even donated some troops to her so her army would be upgraded, and they just leave our clan. Yeah, right. So when it rains, it pours, right? All of these armies around us are swarming us, and what's happening? Nobles leave our fucking kingdom here to do not God knows what. We're kind of maxed out. I can grab another party or two here because I have no idea what we're facing here. Western Empire, we know that. And since I'm probably going to break these in two, well, hold that thought. 2,400. Let's kill this fuck raider. This is what I mean. These fucking guys are raiding our villages. You know, if the execution system was a little more friendly, we'd be executing guys left and right. But obviously it totally destroys your relationship. These villagers and these people raiding our villagers are lucky Ruwa is not in charge, because she would be executing people, relationship be damned. Very lucky that they have the altruistic, thoughtful Mata in charge. So we're at about 1,200 troops, but there's two very large forces of Western Empire here, and this is changed for me. Things have gotten different in this campaign. Mata is now once bitten, twice shy. We got throttled by Valandians. We barely won a battle against the Southern Empire. We barely won the battle against Khazate force, even though we outnumbered them. And that's because our enemies are tough, right? They have high-level troops. They have high-level lords. So excuse me if I wait here a little bit for the garrison to beat down these forces. And look at these forces. 155 elite cataphracts, 62 legionary, 88 elite manavliaton. I mean, these foes that we're facing are stacked. The other army, almost the same, right? 76 legionary, 52 sergeant crossbowmen. So that's 2,400 very high-end troops there. And we have 1,300, and we don't have high-end troops, right? For some reason or other, our Aserai, a lot of these companions or whatever lords that you want to call them, they have like 60 peasants and recruits and fucking the tier 2 Aserai infantry. And we got more Khazate forces storming in here, but we're starting to get desperate. So I think we're going to make a stand here. Got a few perks we can upgrade here. Obviously, with tactics, we can overcome difficult foes, but there's a limit to that, right? If we're facing all tier 5 and we have tier 3 or tier 2, even those folks who saw like the Peasants Revolt and our little looters series with bandits, there's a limit to it, right? We definitely had some battles that we just barely won here, and we're outnumbered by 800. So who knows how this is going to go. But at this stage, we've got to make a stand, right? Mata here. We're just getting dumped in again. How come I don't get to set up my units? I guess because ostensibly the battle's already going. Never understood this. So give me 20 seconds here while I'm going to pull our troops back away from the enemy here and sort of get my bearings. Reset the 4th and 5th as archers, the 2nd, 3rd, and let's do the 8th as cavalry. And then we'll split the 1st so that the 6th Corps has a mix of skirmishers and shock troops. Now, we do have the battle size mod going on, so this is going to be a gigantic battle. This should be a beautiful scene, too. We've got all these elevated hills. There's the river there. This is going to be a really interesting tactical battle. For now, we're just going to set up way at the back here, get some guys elevated, get some archers elevated, and await the storm. See what's going on here. Maybe they will turtle up and play defensive. I always say that the rule of thumb that I like to take is play defensive until the enemy plays defensive, because you can always get offensive, right? If you're charging and they're charging, you really want to be prepared for their attack, especially when they have 250 elite cataphracts. So we'll stick horse archers with the 8th Corps up here on the ridge, and we will try some sort of envelopment formation if they come to us. If they don't, we'll cross that bridge in a second. See what we got going on here. I see just the whole plain is covered with elite cataphract, and they're coming in like they're drunk with aggression. Look at these fucks. And of course, my character is feeble. I mean, her sword swings are horrible. Look, I'm getting chased down by a cataphract. She's slow. We're getting speared already. Even though we're taking a defensive posture, we're getting scorched. And they have elite cataphract, a regular cataphract and elite cataphract. Probably the entire first wave. Once we get our archers set up, though, this should work deliciously. We'll have shock troops with infantry holding down the cav lines, and then archers fucking laying into them. We're going to get flaming arrows, too. This is going to be a beautiful battle. Strap yourself into. This is not going to be a 10-minute battle. This is 2,300 against 1,500. And this is liable to be a slugfest. All right, 6th Corps is here. The enemy's charging. Let's go ahead and countercharge with these shock troops. I hate how they charge the guys towards the back. There's nothing you can do about that. God, the death spam does not look good. Our archers should be setting up soon, though, and that's going to change things. Here come the arrows. You're going to start seeing just flames covering the whole battlefield. And we do have a protected ridge here. God damn, these guys are trying to spear me. You can see their infantry is trying to come up that hill, but it's going to take them a little while, right? Their cav is out in front, and their archers are nowhere to be seen. So advantage us. We're going to be able to completely scorch and destroy this initial cav wave. And we need to, right? It's almost 300 tier 5 and 6 Imperials. Probably with lords with, 250 plus and most of the skills. So they have massive perks. This is just a totally different game than I've ever played before. Probably that you never played before, too. We do show fellas how to set up this kind of campaign on their own. If Bannerlord is too easy for you, you want to make it even harder than a Bannerlord difficulty. I believe it's episode 15. It's called Time Machine or Time Travel or something like that. It's the episode where we push this campaign far into the future with a little bit of fast forwarding and back this infantry up. And we use the time pass mod, but also we use... Oh, shit. Sorry. We use the strengthen AI to really power up the enemy lords. And there's complete details on which mod versions to use, on which... what settings we're using to create this artificial environment of really difficult enemy. I mean, look at this shit. Their horse archers are plowing in here. It's cons guards and whatnot. Just cutting our guys down. Kill these fucking guys. We're kiting all the way back at this stage because if their infantry wants to charge over this ridge, their archers won't be able to support them. We will be able to effectively kill box these guys. God, they are pouring in fast, though. Look at them all. And, of course, Legionnaire. Every fucking unit is a Legionnaire. Let's get another division around the other side of them. Is that Cav? I can't move. There's so many fucking troops in the way. Push these fucking Cav back with our Cav. Well, it's messy. I didn't get that infantry division quite where I wanted, but it's time to charge. They have fucking infantry here. Or archers here, rather. Fuck, I did not think these guys would push up so aggressively. Of course, they got Britannian Fiend Champs, Sergeant Crossbow. Now they got Horse Archers. What a nightmare. But we've got their infantry wrapped up. There's 2 infantry divisions, shock troop division, a main infantry division, and a cav division all circling it. If we could push these archers back, it's going to, almost as soon as I said that, I was going to say it's going to be a green flush as their infantry gets liquidated. Look at their Legionnaire, Dark Hand. We're still scorching them despite the fact that they're all tier 5. Kill those bitches. I will roleplay a little bit here with Matai's light voice. We're going to be saying it like a man. Kill them all. We're holding the ridge here beautifully. Their archers look like they pulled back. Their horse archers are sort of mingling here, but again, we're going to continue to hold that side ridge. See if we can't push these horse archers further away. They have a lot of horse archers. Of course, cons guards and shit. Yeah, beautiful. All right, let's get the 8th Corps to protect these horse archers and archers. We'll set these guys up top here. These guys will have elevation to rain down fire into the enemy ranks. All I see is flaming arrows lighting up the enemy. I don't want this infantry pulling forward, though. In fact, it might even make sense to just play defensive and see what the enemy does here. I can immediately... Let's see what's going on here. I'm indecisive. Sometimes you get indecisive. Let's pull back. Let's play defensive. I think when you're indecisive, first do what you're role-playing. Mata is a very calculated, read, cautious commander, right? You know what I mean by I say read. Translation, she's very cautious. Her sister hates it. Ruwa is fucking furious. She's like, charge, you weak bitch. But Mata is deliberate, right? Mata is calculated. She's the opposite of the impulsive Mata. Yeah, see, they're reforming. We can fire here, but I think it makes more sense for us to just continue to wait beyond this ridge. You see the ridge I mean? These archers back here, we can stick this 5th Division right there, and right here there's a hill that the enemy can't see us. It's effectively a reverse slope decline in an odd formation, right? An odd piece of terrain. I think we're going to be able to effectively hide our troops back here and either force the enemy to engage us or see what they do defensively, right? They might turtle up. We shall see. Right now they're reforming, so there's no reason for us to be, oh shit, my character's flaming like she's legendary or something. That was cool. I didn't get hit by an arrow. It just seemed like she was flaming on her own. She pulled out her flaming bow and arrow and her whole body was like immolated. That was cool looking. Speaking of cool looking, this battlefield is cool looking. Thank goodness for the developers making super unique terrain battles like this, right? We got the whole river down there to play with too if you want. This battlefield is definitely one of the most unique in the whole game. Just tons of rocks and fucking slopes and hills and water and trees on the other side. Extremely well done. A little golf clap here for Tailworlds on this one. Alright, this is the ridge we're holding. We're not going over that until we have to. I've got a line of camels here. I was going to say cavalry. We've got a lot of camels in our army right now. We've captured quite a few mercenaries over the course of the last, 3 years of gameplay, and I've been stashing these in Danustica. Well, we had to unleash the camels in this episode right after that defeat, after our ignominious failure and being captured at Askar. We had to dip into our reserves here, and that includes some of the divisions I really wasn't hoping to use at this stage, right? I was hoping to use these for later on for epic battles, but evidently the epic battles are already here, right? This is a vital early mid-game campaign epic battle, and I need these camels. So we're still getting shot at, but there's another ridge right here I'm pretty sure we can hide behind. So we're going to just duck down here. That looks good. And now we observe what the enemy does. A little bit of patience is required here. I might have to break out one of those anecdotal stories here. If the enemy is either patient or maybe they joust with cavalry or something like that, we will adjust. But in this situation, it's a peekaboo ridge reverse slope defense for both sides. Because if we go over, you see what happens. They've got hundreds of horse archers and crossbowmen just ready to attack. Well, these horse archers just died. They charged, and I have no idea what they're doing. Of course, this is just standard, not so terrific AI. It's sending 80 horse archers against our entrenched infantry archers, horse archers. These guys are scorched. It's just flaming arrows to the face. And the death spam says it all, right? They had no chance in hell. Horse archers, when they're attacking front head on like this, are torched. They have no chance. It doesn't matter that they're cons guards, right? They're all just shot off their horses. Yeah, and you can see, you step over that ridge and 80,000 tasered arrows go flying over. God, it's a beautiful fucking setting. The sun is rising here on this Kazate style plateau here. I guess the steppe is what this would be called, right? The steppe. This row of camels is protecting our archers too, so the horse archers are being full-on scorched. One difficulty I'm realizing is I'm going to run out of ammo here, right? We've got to be conservative here, even though there's horse archers here. Well, this is one thing we can do, right? Is we can counter their horse archers by charging with a bunch of big fucking camels. Get in there, Jawals. I bet we have 30 Jawals in our army. And I don't think we have any of the mercenaries actually in our army. Look at them come up there, giant camels. I don't want them going over that edge, though, because you know what happens, right? They become camels that are on fire. God, it really is a beautiful game. Camels on fire, and then we lose, right? We're gonna hold this edge until the enemy either doesn't do anything or comes up to it, right? If they don't do anything, of course, we'll be forced to attack, and it's going to be very difficult. They have 500 archers and infantry right there. So speeding it up just a little bit here. I don't want to bore you to death, but at the same time, this is a critical battle in our campaign. If I fly over this ridge, we're destroyed. They got horse archers just kind of sitting at the edge here. Their troops are moving up. Their infantry's moving up for sure. I think the enemy's going to engage us here. Probably not doing us any benefit, any favors here. Rule of thumb is if the enemy can shoot you, they won't engage. They won't advance. They will just sit there and shoot. Even if it's like 10 guys they can shoot at, all of their crossbow, or even a small percentage of their crossbow, will just shoot at those guys, and the whole battle will come to a standstill. So if you've ever been in a stalemate, look at how beautiful it is. Man, it's picturesque. If you've ever been in a standstill, make sure your guys aren't being shot at. In fact, I'm getting our own guys scorched. Every single time I go over that ridge, I think it stops the enemy from advancing, right? We want to be patient here and effectively make them advance, or we will try to encircle them. We'll try to encircle them from the north, but I don't have the resources to really do it properly, right? If we were going to charge over this ridge, I'd like to have 200 cavalry. That way we could sandwich their forces and completely occupy them while we moved our units into place. I don't have those kind of units right now. So I'm forced to be a little bit patient here. We'll do all kinds of anecdotal shit here in battle. Waxes. What is this called? The waning and waxing of the battles, right? During these little lulls. I'm a gardener. I've been a gardener for about 15 years. When I met my wife, we started doing more edible gardening, and that has significantly transformed my life. I was in pretty good shape, a little bit doughy, 30-something-year-old when I met my wife. And she taught me to grow kale and how to cook and eat with things like kale. Most guys despise it. They're literally t-shirts that, they're like a meme and it says, fuck kale. Well, the reality is that these vegetables are really, really good for us. So if you can find good ways to cook and eat with high quality vegetables, you're going to experience a much higher quality of life. And we're going to hold that story here because here comes their charge. It didn't take them long for them to order this approach. So Cav sent down here to charge, 6th Corps sent in with them, and we've got a giant brawl on our hands here. The javelins are flying. They've got archers sent up here. I don't want to cross this ridge, though, so we're just going to fight where the enemy comes over. We're coloring within the lines here. We're doing a little archer skirmish here on the left. Now, I could drive these cavalry over the top here and try to envelop them. Let's see what this looks like. No, we can't. Look at that shit. We're not going over that. We will be... Look at that. The arrow's just scorching over the top of that. We wait. If you go over that, this is just feel. Of course, I have 1,000 battles under my experience. I know what happens. We get lit on fire and the battle's over. Down here, though, we can fight. I don't see anybody getting shot, so we're going to join these boys in here for some combat. Of course, I have a devastating strike attempt on the enemy. And I do 20. It doesn't even injure the poor guys. If they want to fight down here, though, we like it. Right, we're out of their archers' line of sight. Let's charge with the 1st and 6th Corps. That's shock troops. We've got Cav in there attacking them. And any archers with ammo left will be shooting. Unfortunately, a lot of these guys are out of ammo. I actually thought they were on hold fire. No, they're just out of ammo. And that's a problem here, right? Because the enemy seems to have ammo and we're out. That's a recipe to get killed. Is that infantry charging up? I think we're about to have a huge brawl here. If that is, we're going to sweep down with this 8th Corps, 2nd Corps, and envelop them with this infantry and archers. These guys are going to have to charge. Let's go, boys. We got the 3rd. Let's drag down this 8th and just collide right into the top of the enemy. It's a messy envelopment process. And these archers just have to charge. They're out of ammo. So archers become weak infantry. In we go, right? Guys are roaring. And we have a gigantic scrum. Now, we have a concentrated attack going on, and we just devastated a lot of their cavalry. Fuck, they are peeling back in a hurry. We're going to have to inflict as much damage as we can here. We can't afford to pull back again. We don't have ammo. So if we pull back, all these archers will just shoot us at range and weaken the shit out of us. We're going to have to have a bit of a death run here. Just drag cavalry towards me, and the rest of the troops just in line formation, coming as fast as they can to engage these troops. Now, a couple problems with this. First, we're going towards the enemy's reinforcement spot. The second problem here is simple. We're moving away from our own reinforcement spot. Not only are we out of ammo, and we're charging all kinds of infantry, tough archers and whatnot, but we don't have ammunition, and our reinforcements are going to take a hot minute to get to us. It's going to feel like a long time. So this assault needs to be furious, and it needs to be relentless until every single troop here is dead, and I mean ours too. There's no backing down here. This is just a complete death charge to the end. Dragging cavalry around the rear because I want to try to get them in on the back of their archers. That way their archers can't line up shots, right? They can't set up, and they're basically in a big, tight, packed mass of troops so that our infantry and archers that are out of ammo can arrive and impact them. I'd love to be able to flank them here, but the rock formations are making it not really feasible. All these archers here, we can't let them get away. I see our infantry pursuing, and behind them are the archers. I mean, I might be able to pull some of these guys around to the top here, but almost all of them are out of ammo. And it's just a slugfest here to the death, right? We're gonna fight here to the last man. Reinforcements will come in at some point, but they're not gonna be able to help us. We've got to be 300 yards from the spawn point. The enemy's still sort of regrouping, right? It's kind of beneficial for us. Of course, I fly into the back and I devastatingly hit some guys for 40 and 20, 57. She really is incredibly weak. 84. We're working our way up there. Eventually, we're going to kill someone. There we go. 157. All of a sudden, it's like she just leveled up a little bit. But it's bloody as fuck. Look at the death spam, right? We're doing everything we can here. Our reinforcements have just come in, but these guys charging have no choice but to charge. And the enemy just countercharged. And here's where it's going to be a challenge from a unit level, right? They have higher level units than us. That's all there is to it. I don't know. Those archers are going to get swallowed up. They're right over the wrong side of the ridge. Fuck this shit. Fuck you. Fucking Western Empire motherfuckers. I'm stuck in here, but I'm just going to hold my shield up. It's carnage, trying to get through here without getting cut down. Now, here's the deal with this setup. Eventually, we're going to pull back, right? When I get enough of these troops that are sort of reinforcements, we'll pull back. But this is not the time, right? We don't have enough forces that have caught up to us yet. And our main block of troops is still fighting, right? So we're going to leave these guys on attack, even though it's archers on infantry. Not much choice here. The enemy's getting reinforcements too, of course, and we're in a war of attrition now. Our main death charge there, those guys are about spent, and the enemy still has tough infantry here skewering our archers. We'll be able to pull back soon, but not yet. They got random infantry running all over the place. Most of the guys are clear now. Let's go ahead and do it now. So second corps in a big long line here. Let's go ahead and... That's way too many infantry for one division. We'll do the 1st and the 6th again. I can send the 6th. We can flank with that division, right? So we have a 1st division charging, and I just want them getting here as soon as they can, right? Because our archers are trying to reform, and they're being pursued by cavalry and infantry. I've got a smattering of other units, but this really is these big 3 divisions. The 1st, 6th, and the 2nd are going to have to carry the day here. This battle is razor close. Do as much as we can here with this weak character. The infantry's starting to charge in. They can be charging shield wall, but man, these are weak troops. I'm looking at really weak troops. The archers are set up, but I see a lot of weak archers in there too. I see light archers. There's even militia in there. Yikes. Protect him with our small amount of cavalry as these archers are getting cut down by the enemy horsemen. Fucking assholes. So this cav line, and it's all weak cav, hopefully they can hold back this line of enemy cav charging them so that these archers can do some damage. Charging with the 1st, we've got the 6th as well to get in there. They can get a little bit of an angle on the enemy. In fact, we can divide this division one more time. Let's send... Oh, shit, look at this. Do you see what I see? I see all peasants. Recruits. The enemy still has tier 3, tier 4, even tier 5 units here, and we've got fucking recruits. I mean, the death spam's not bad, but man, are we up against it. Come on, boys. Flush a wave of green. No. No wave of green here. It's pretty bad red. God, they are fighting like dogs, both sides. What a grueling battle this has been. What a beautiful battle, too. These archers up here have a good angle. So does the 2nd Division, but they're just being bored into now by infantry. Our infantry divisions are dead. We've got our fucking militia archers standing by themselves. Khan's guards almost killing me, motherfuckers. And you know what time it is? I think it's retreat o'clock. If you remember, the Western Empire was sieging this city, or sieging this castle. It's a strange game mechanic, but we can effectively just attack here and abandon ship. Look at these archers. These are all militia. So this is actually the militia from the castle sallying out. I mean, we could try to kite. Maybe we could pull a kill box off here, but they've got Khan's guards cutting our units down. They still have heavy horse. Of course, we have no cavalry now, 0. I got fucking guys chasing me down, and this battle's over. We lost. Look at our little sliver of fucking green. Khan's guards are still trying to kill me. Horsemen are riding down our peasants. Fucking assholes. Man, this shit's humbling, man. We're gonna have to retreat. Retreat and, frankly, hope that we can get out of here, right? There's some chance that we can't get away. 43 troops left. Let's see if we can get out of here. The good thing is they're still sieging down this castle. There's a shot. All right, 31. We've got Kazate to the northwest. We'll go to the east. And let's just... Whoop, we get an autosave in here. Let's get the fuck out of Dodge. Look at our units. We have 3, 0, 1, 2. Go, baby, go. The good thing is they have big armies and no small armies here. If they had small armies, we'd be captured. Go. I think we're good. The AI is rarely smart enough to, like, break its army up and chase after you. Man, but what another brutal setback here, right? We can't win. I mean, the Valandians are kicking our ass here. Kazate are sieging there. Morania Castle's under siege. Who knows if we'll be able to take Vostrom. And our force here with Mata, with 1,200 troops, we were unable to stop the Western Empire. They just plowed right through us and took the castle right in front of us. I mean, they just swatted us aside. So very humbling experience here. And I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board, right? We're going to have to start coming up with some different ideas here. Mata is too weak to impact a battle. Her leadership is good, but she just doesn't have the captains in order to win. So we got to do a little brainstorming here. I got to take a piss, and we will continue. All right, well, what do we do here, right? First, we got to upgrade some perks. The good news is we still got some skills out of that battle. You know, other companions are very slowly regaining some skills here. But on many levels, it's back to the drawing board, right? We need more troops. We're going to have to try to bring in a few more armies here. Shibble Zumar Castle, fucking stupid name, is gone. We've got like 3 other castles gone. We do have one force that is sieging Vostrom. It'd be really nice if we added that as a city. Who knows if they're going to be successful. And I think given our location and the past successes we've had at Urzener Castle, that makes the most sense, right? We head to Urzener Castle and try to defend that, even if it means getting inside, right? The more sort of cowardly way to do it. All's fair in love and war, right? That's some saying. I think that was Mark Zuckerberg who said that. Actually, I can't remember the fellow who said that some long time ago. What is it? There's no rules, or all's fair in love and war, something like that. And that's the case here too, right? We're going to have to start stooping to... I'm not going to do exploits, of course, but we will start getting a little bit more strategic, right? Getting a little bit more cutthroat with this campaign, because frankly, we're losing, right? That's the only way to put it. We got defeated by the Valandians and captured at Askar City. Now we get fucking shoved aside rudely by these 2 large Western Empire forces. Who knows what they're going to do next, right? The one city I will defend to the very death is Danustica. We can't afford to let Danustica go. And this Urzener Castle, this has been a steady provider of good news, right? The sports equivalent of a get well matchup, right? Where you experience a positive result. These guys look like they're getting attacked down there. Or at least they're having a hard time taking Vostrom. But a get well matchup is basically where you play like the worst football team in the league and you experience victory, right? You're able to defeat the absolute worst in the best case scenario, and it restores a little bit confidence to your side. That's what we need right now, right? Mataz, she's shaken. Ruwa is absolutely furious with how disgustingly weak her sister is. At least we're getting some. We just added a mercenary clan. We can use all the troops we can get at this stage. They did get captured. Look at this shit. Teta, that was Teta, the Teta army. They were down there sieging Vostrom, and like a bitch, they got captured. So this is that stage of the movie, like where everything is going bad, right? They play the bad music. There's a really uncomfortable scene. The gal leaves the guy for some fucking ugly dude with a huge schlong. Your dog gets run over by the garbage man. They send you a bill for the garbage because you haven't paid for it in 2 years, and then you can't afford to bury your dog. This is a really bad state of this campaign, right? See, our fucking dipshit sultan won't give us peace. I've asked twice for peace with these kingdoms, and I give up, right? This guy, people who, they ask for your advice and they never take it, you know what they call that, fellas? That's called an ask hole, right? The people who, they want advice and then you give them good advice and they do the opposite. They're an ask hole. And that's what the sultan is here. He's like, what do you think? Should we have peace with the Western Empire? And we're like, definitely, my lord. We're being overrun. And he's like, too bad, we're gonna fight him, fuck you. And you're just like, this fucking guy. You just throw your hands up in rage. But we're gonna have a good matchup here. In fact, I don't even think I need to fight this like with seriousness. We have the battle size mod, so we're gonna have like 600 or 700 troops on the battlefield. And with this castle, I think this is actually even a good spot for some anecdotal shit, right? Like we can wander off into the annals of history and stuff like that. We don't have to fight this castle tooth and nail. We've already defended this castle against larger opponents. So unless I fumble here and really fuck things up, I'm going to be able to sort of take a mental break and wander off. We will wander off into the rabbit hole that is my brain, right? I'm a rambler. And that's perfect because for battles like this, where you guys have probably already seen me defend this castle, rambling will at least make it somewhat interesting. All right. Let's see what we do here. So I will at least tell you the setup here. We're going to set up archers on both of these high outer walls. We're going to set up at least 2 archer corps in the middle here. Of course, an infantry division at the first. And then look at this big long line here on the right. We can get troops. We will stick a few infantry in there to protect them in case the enemy somehow gets troops up there, but that's disgustingly savage. The 1st Division, of course, just in a square down there. We can get the 7th Corps. Look at them, just positioned beautifully on a roof. The 6th Corps can be right here to protect that central ladder spot. It does look like they have a siege tower, but none of that's going to matter. Over here, the 5th in a big, long line. I mean, that's frankly way too many troops. I'd love to get them lined up, one guy abreast the whole way down that line, but that's all right. Even that sloppy formation should work. I have so many troops, I don't even know where to stick this mass of the 4th Corps. 147 troops. Again, with the realistic, or with the, what's it called? With the battle size mod, the enemy's going to have like 1,300 troops. In fact, all of their troops are probably going to be on the battlefield at the same time. But we get most of ours, right? We're going to have 600 or 700 here. In fact, if I'm counting 387, we have 700 troops. We actually have a few more than 700 troops. So it's 1,300 versus 700, and we get all our troops at the same time. No reinforcements, but it doesn't matter. All these guys are in position, ready to shred the enemy. And frankly, it's almost too crowded. I don't even know where to put this 4th Corps. They're in a big, messy glob. I want them to spread out, but there's not even enough room in this castle. There's like fucking houses and shit in the way. And of course, the system for positioning troops in a siege defense like this is, we'll call it suboptimal, right? We'll call it the same as the American political system. It's highly suboptimal. And I think we'll rant a little bit about that. Not politics, but the American political system, the American system in general, right? Our hyper-capitalism. If you're a huge fan of capitalism, good, so am I. Capitalism is necessary because it motivates people to invent, it motivates people to work hard and to try to strive and achieve great things. Here's the problem. capitalism must be regulated on some level. What happens if it's not? You get the 18th and 19th century, right? With fucking industrialism, where children were working 16-hour days. You get mass shantyvilles where the poor is so fucking poor, it's just in a despicable state of pauperism. You get rampant disease, you get incredible income inequality, and with that you get an unhealthy economy, right? You want to have a supportive middle base in any strong capitalistic system. Incidentally, this is why China is passing the United States as the strongest economic country in the world. Why? Because China understands that the middle class is the most important thing for a capitalistic system. Now, before anybody says China's a communistic country only in name, right? They're officially the Chinese Communistic Party or whatever. A true communistic system doesn't have rich people. It doesn't have businesses and stocks and all the things that China has. Now, sure, China doesn't have the American capitalistic system, but what they have is they have state-controlled capitalism. And the benefit of that is that their government controls their corporations. So not always good, right? I'm not advocating for the Chinese system, but compared to the American system, it's superior. And I'll tell you why. In America right now, the corporations, and probably large parts of Europe, they run the country. They write the rules. They pay for politicians who become bought and paid for. Both sides. I'm not going to get political and say it's one side or the other. Whether it's Nick Schumer or what's the guy's name? Scott Schumer, the New Jersey or New York senator, or Nancy Pelosi, or the Kentucky senator that was 150 years old who just resigned, right? Mitch McConnell. These guys are bought and paid for politicians. The corporations own them, right? Whether it's big oil or fucking Silicon Valley and stuff like that. They get gigantic contributions, political contributions, and that allows those corporations to give unnaturally large sway to the laws that the state puts in, right? It becomes an oligarchy, essentially. It's just a very, very poor form of capitalism, where the people's vote doesn't really matter, right? They've already done studies that showed that what the people actually want, what the voters want, usually never happens with the Congress. Why? Because the people don't care. They understand that they're bought and paid for by politicians. They also understand that those corporations can then give them huge amounts of money, which allows them to run re-election campaigns, right? This is not cynicism, fellas. This is how it is. At least in the United States, I have studied this heavily. It's basically an open secret. Any political analyst will tell you this, that the American system has been massively infiltrated by corporations, right? It's almost like NASCAR, where you can see like Mitch McConnell has a big fucking BP or a fucking Exxon Valdez. Motherfucker, I got a javelin sticking out of my shoulder blade. These corporations, though, they give so much money to these various different politicians on both the left and the right, both sides are corrupt, that they really do control legislation. And of course, they legislate rules that favor those corporations. And I'll give you just a classic example. The social media companies. We know affirmatively, for sure, both political parties are confident that these social media companies are sowing hate, discontent. Look at this. They don't even attack me. They just let me flame their troops. I'm going to start speeding up large parts of this siege because I still think this is over, but I'm going to continue on my little rant here. We'll get on horseback. It'll be a little safer. And hopefully you guys can forgive me not narrating every single component of this battle. I'm going to continue on with my little rant here. All right, rant continuing. These corporations, social media companies, it's an open secret. This is not, you can learn this anywhere, but you can also just experience it by your own life experiences. These companies have learned that the best way to get engagement, and I'm speaking about YouTube, by the way, YouTube, Twitter, fucking TikTok, Facebook, all of these companies have learned that the best way to get engagement, in other words, the most amount of people, is to have controversy, is to stimulate humankind's worst emotions, which are hate, rage, envy, outrage, fear, all of those things. And these companies, just like the news companies, right, just like Fox News and MSNBC for liberals, these companies, social media, Google, they have learned that as long as their algorithm feeds people continuous topics that make them enraged, that make them angry at racists, or make them racist and angry at non-racist, non-nationalists, or make them angry at Black Lives Matters, or makes them angry at the cops who are beating up Black Lives Matters. These companies know that they will get more engagement, and more engagement leads to more advertising dollars. More advertising dollars leads to their stock price going up, and that is their sole purpose as a company. I know that's very cynical, but that's the truth. These businesses can actually be sued by their investors if they don't pursue the best interests of those investors. In other words, if Google came out and said, you know what, we're going to do the right thing, you fucking archers, have some arrows here. These guys are scorched. If Google says, you know what, we're going to do the right thing here, and we're going to do happiness and positivity through our social media platforms, and admittedly we're going to have a 40% drop in revenue, there would be fucking class action lawsuits from people that want them to make the maximum amount of money with their company. Right? I know this is all somewhat depressing, but that is the current state of the capitalistic system in the West. Right? They're required to make as much money as possible, regardless of the damage they cause. And it's very similar to Philip Morris and all the other cigarette companies in the 80s and 70s. They had reports, they had all kinds of studies that showed definitively that cigarettes were addictive and killing people through cancer. And what did they do? They marketed them to children and young people with Joe Camel and all this other shit. Motherfucker. Oh shit. I'm telling my story here. I'm going to get cut down by a fucking cons guard. Fuck you. Oh, he's chasing me. You asshole. Kill this guy. Shoot him. Okay, thank you, fellas. That was like, I bet Philip Morris paid for this guy to come kill me. Fuck you, Philip Morris. Catch an arrow. You can see what's going on here, right? These archers have crossfire to these guys. I can explain it in 20 seconds. They can't get up there because there's 80 guys in the 3rd Division blocking their way. If they don't attack them, we charge at the 3rd. Here we have a pillar defense with 2 massive blocks of infantry, and the enemy's funneled in between this for the archers. The 6th Corps and the 4th Corps are pounding these guys up here on the wall. In fact, this 4th Corps can be told to charge. Right? All of these guys can basically add themselves to the melee. But I don't want to stop the enemy from getting down here, right? I don't want to prevent the enemy from being caught in this trap, right? This is a trap that they can't get out of. They're shot in the back as they try to get up that ladder. And so, oops, oh shit, kill our own guys. So I actually don't want to block that door up with the 4th Corps, right? All these guys marching down actually become a deterrent to this strategy, right? Because instead, the enemy very happily attacks these troops here. And then you lose your archer support. So we're going to pull these guys back, and the battle's already over, but we're going to finish our little rant here. All right, so social media companies are purposefully dividing and enraging and making people afraid all over the country. Liberals, libertarians, Republicans, conservatives, everybody. You, your friend, your neighbors, your coworkers, everybody. They're making money on it, right? Whether they're getting you to hate Black Lives Matters, or hate the police who are beating on Black Lives Matters, or hate China, or hate whatever it is, they're making you hate. They're making you hate. They want you to be enraged. They want you to basically engage in all of your worst activities. Why? Because then they get paid more by the advertisers because they get more views. It's just like a YouTube video, right? The more views they get, and there you go. So there's our instant win here at Urzenir Castle. To summarize, right, this is a castle we can fall back to anytime we want and destroy the enemy. I wish it were closer, because this castle is amazing. This might be one of my favorite castles for defense. And to summarize the political system, the corporations own the government in the United States and large parts of Europe. Those corporations are running amok because, of course, they're not about to have the government write up rules that makes them do things like, well, hey, let's not have, our population totally enraged and divided by social media, right? Because those social media companies would then not make as much money, right? They would lose engagement. Let's see, what do we do here? I'm just going to process this to see if we can talk, do some of this process. I'm going to steal a bunch of troops from here. We need them, and they've got a bunch here. 90 master archers. I don't know where these archers came from, honestly. I think we put 30 or 40 here. Maybe my companions dumped them in here, but we'll take them, right? These are very welcome troops here. And then we're going to get back to the heartland, right? We're going to go back to Danustica, restock the garrison there, and try to figure out our next step in this campaign. So we'll see if we can chew gum, walk, and juggle at the same time here, and play Bannerlord at the same time. We'll fill up our companions here with our master archer overload. So what you're seeing in the United States, all across Europe, whether it's France or anywhere else where there's big division, this is intentional, right? These social media companies are piping in hate and discontent nonstop to the people. Of course, they have all kinds of other ways of engagement. One of them is selling, young women shaking their booty, right? Whether you're on, what is it called? I can't even think of the name. I don't use it. TikTok, right? Whether it's TikTok or Facebook Reels, a disturbing trend is very young women, some of them probably underage, shaking their butt for making money, right? It's basically YouTube and Facebook whoring these girls out, right? At least it's not direct sex, I suppose. But that's another horrendous thing the social media companies are doing. But the government's not about to write up rules against these corporations. Why? Of course, because the politicians are bought and paid for by these corporations. You can almost see them as like the PR division of Facebook and stuff like that. These companies have more money than God, and Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi and all these politicians, they like money. They're like Wazu, right? The human condition is greed. Avarice is a normal trait. We're the only army here. Nobody's going to help us at all. And incidentally, of course, right, who else is a participant in this whole divide the United States, divide the West? Well, totalitarian governments. You know who loves the United States and Great Britain and France and everybody else, Germany, being divided? China, Russia, Ukraine, not Ukraine, I apologize, Iran, North Korea, all the countries that are run by totalitarian dictators. They're very eager to show other constituent states, right, the small countries across Africa, that democracy has failed. And I know that's a strange sentence to hear, fellas, because you like your democracy. I like democracy. Right now, democracy is starting to fail, right? As soon as you get large percentages of the people that hate the other side and they refuse to make peace with the Northern Empire. I mean, you fuck Unquid. Anytime you have large percentages of the population not believe in the results of the election, right? In 2020, of course, the United States election was believed to have been stolen by a very large percentage of the population. I don't even care what you believe about that. What I'm saying from a neutral political standpoint is it doesn't matter which side is right. If a third of the country believes one thing and a third of the country believes the other about a factual event, you have a problem. You have big problems, right? Houston, we have a problem. And that is the condition right now inside the United States and probably other countries in Europe, right? So China, Russia, these countries, by the way, are propelling and furthering the division, right? They have all kinds of bots and fucks on Facebook stirring up shit, right? Causing more hate and contempt. Why? Because Rome, just like the United States and other Western civilizations, was not conquered from without, it was destroyed from within. They divided the people that were inside the country. They made fellow Romans and fellow Americans think that the enemy wasn't across the ocean in China or Russia. They made them believe that the enemy was in the next neighborhood, right? Or the next county or the next city over. So think about that. Of course, you can disagree with me. If you want, you can flame me in the comments. I don't care. I've done my homework, and I'm not a geopolitic expert. I do not have a degree, but I read an incredible amount. And of course, I'm old, right? I've acquired a lot of information about my opinions. I'm happy to discuss them with you. Nevertheless, hopefully you enjoyed the Bannerlord side of this episode. There may be a little bit more here. I'm going to take another little break, and then we will be back, right? More geopolitics, more Bannerlord, more tactics, more fucking swearing. Hopefully some more good battles. So stay tuned, fellas. I'll be right back. All right, we are recording again. It looks like we're good to go here. And it's a leaner, meaner us, right? We went to Danustica here. I actually stopped the recording there for a bit because we were doing a bunch of exchange, basically. And what I did is I transferred a bunch of troops here to some of these smaller armies because I've got to get these fucking Khazate out of here. They're swarming all our villages. And when you have a bunch of loose armies like this, they do an excellent job of getting rid of these raider fucks. The other thing I did is I've called some larger armies to us, not manifestly more armies, but armies that have strong leaders, right? I've done a little bit of thinking in this campaign This is a couple 3 hours actually, probably, from where I'm gonna snip these 2 episodes together. And what I've realized is I need some captains. I need some strong leaders, just like we're facing. Our own family members are not high enough level yet. We're gonna head over to Morania Castle. Maybe we will take Vostrum, or try to take Vostrum. We've got to deal with these other castles that are under siege here. It seems like our whole frontier is under assault. We're the only army. And of course, this dipshit Unquid, every time I ask for peace, he is like, no, choke it down. He's an asshole, right? You ask him for something and he just laughs at you. And of course, we're facing juggernauts, right? We're still facing Manchug. Look at this. The leaders of these kingdoms, and they're all stronger than us, are still alive, and they're still badass. I mean, look at her fucking stats, right? She's got the medicine skill on top of 465 steward. Truly, in this campaign, we are facing juggernaut enemies. Of course, the Northern Empire, twice I've asked for peace, and he has chosen not to make peace. Whatever you do, Unquid, don't have peace. Let's fight everybody while our whole fucking frontier is just Swiss cheese. But we've called forward this guy here. I've fought with him before. You guys probably know I like Mr. Guzid. He looks badass, and he's a great commander, right? He's got good skills and excellent battle stats, so hopefully we can put him in charge of a division or two. Not a division or two, but hopefully we can put him and his army in charge of a division, and that should help us make big gains. And look at this shit. Speaking of big gains, look at this shit. That is Valandia. They went all the way past Britannia and the Western Empire here to start sieging and attacking the Sturgeons. Why can they afford to do that? Because they have half of the map conquered. All the way up and down the west coast, all the way down to the river here, the river near Quasira, they have all of this territory. I mean, only the Western Empire is holding them back from attacking us. So it's a crazy campaign at this stage, and we're calling in the reinforcements. Now, I don't want a huge army here. Oh my God, speaking of a huge army, here's another huge army. It's just a loitering army of 2,400 Western Empire fucks. I thought they were sieging 2 of our castles deep in our territory, and they have enough troops to just casually form another doom stack here, 2,500 troops. Come on, Guzid. Ignore those boys. We need you. This motherfucker traveling to Lycaron to defend. Well, Lycaron is nowhere near here, so I'm not sure what that Western Empire force is doing. We gotta go, though. We gotta try to defend this Morania Castle. Who knows where they'll go next? Of course, now this is under siege. This is Khazate smashing their way through Erzanur Castle. No surprise. I don't think we can go back there in time. We need the Aserai to make a fucking army. Whatever you do, don't help, Sultan. And there's tons of armies for them to make some armies. I don't know why they're not. And we're in trouble here. We're losing castle after castle. We really are being blasted and impinged into a corner. Now, we've got a strong army, right? We reloaded from the troops at Danustica and at Erzanur Castle, but obviously we weakened it in order to do that. Oh, man, it's breathless. This has been a real challenge. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it, right? I'm stressed as the player. I'm experienced, though, so we dig it. Look at how many castles and cities they have. And the Valandians are only at war with Khazate and Sturgio, which is really, really gnarly. That's a highly unusual situation. Oh, I forgot the other reason I want to talk to Guzid. A lot of times you can talk to the leaders of clans and get married. Now, my character, of course, Mata, we're not going to marry her off. Not quite yet. Although, I don't know how that works. I guess that male would join our clan. But we've got Cole. Cole can get married, right? That is the oldest son of Wazu. He had 2 daughters, and then Cole. And Cole is still single, right? He's 19. He's got some. He needs to be relieved, right? He's got some testosterone flowing, we'll say, and we need to set him up with a nice looking gal, or just a nice gal. Period. You'll hear me advocate more on that later on, both in Bannerlord and in real life. So let's see what he's got here. I'd like to propose a marriage, my own hand. Okay, so he doesn't have anybody for Mata, but. Let's see if he's got anybody that can marry Cole. The hand of Cole. Rainmud. Okay. She's young, but look at her stats, right? She's already kind of tricked out. And you know why, right? Because they're being affected by the strength and AI mod. So she's not uber powerful. She's free? Okay. Oh, all right. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth. We've got this siege defense here of this, though. and I'm looking down cumulative the times. This is another good spot for me to break these two episodes off. So we're going to defend here, but I know this is a bit of a teaser. I just don't want these episodes to be 3 hours. We're married. Of course, we'll do normal player damage, and I'm gonna go ahead and just break it off here. I'll have a different intro. We will do some after narration in the next episode. I appreciate you fellas for watching the channel. I don't want these episodes to be 2 hours long, so you guys are gonna just have to wait. We'll preview this battlefield here. But with all that said, I appreciate you fellas. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, of course, if you want to see more from the channel, more from this campaign, more tactics, learn more about the disastrous American political system. And I will see you, friends, next time.